Hey guys, it's Sleepy Reader here for a quick lunch break review. It's a pleasant day, so I'm out by the creek that's near my workplace. Let me see if I can show you much. Actually, I guess there's just kind of a wetland right behind me. It's hard to see what's showing up. With all the bright light, I can't see my own iPad screen. Anyway, got some comic books that I've been reading recently. I just read 2 of them just now, and thought I would discuss 3 or 4 that I've read recently. So this is I was showing this because this is the case that I carry my comic books in when I bring them to work to read at lunch break. I've got an all-new XMen number 10. This was a solid issue. I can't believe we're already on issue 10 already. It seems like there's definitely a shifting of gears in the series, and you can see it in Stuart Immoner's artwork, which has somehow changed since the earlier arc that he did. I'd say, I mean, here's a big action scene, but the action is less big. There's more of a sense of close-ups and just a more kind of intimate art style in a way. There's none of the two-page spreads that he was doing and they've been doing all over the place on the all-new X-Men before now. I don't know if this shift took place in this issue or the previous one. But you can see it's just a lot more talking heads, if you will, or just intimate moments. Even, when these kind of big visual scenes happen, they happen in smaller panels, not spread across the page. I'm finding his portrayal of, I don't know what's visible with the bright light, his portrayal of Wolverine to be interesting. Wolverine's face is looking more and more kind of animalistic to me, kind of simian or feral, which is interesting as, I don't know, I feel subtly we're getting Wolverine as the bad guy and Scott Summers as the good guy in a way. But these things keep shifting. Brian Bendis, he really, I still feel like this is like the ultimate Brian Bendis experience. He just really has a feel. He's the guy who can balance all these characters and shift your feelings back and forth about all of them. There's the big non-reveal at the end where someone says he's going off with the Scott Summers Cyclops version of the X-Men, and we don't know who. I've heard someone give it away somewhere. Can't remember who, but I guess you find out in the next issue of Uncanny X-Men who it is. So I'll be finding out soon, but I think I probably had it given away to me. The other Marvel book I just recently read was Fearless Defenders. This cover is amazingly good and funny. And this is issue 3, and I loved the first issue of it. And the second issue was pretty good, but a little looser in its feeling. And this issue has much more of I'm caring a lot less about what's going on here kind of feeling. So I've got to decide whether to pick up issue 4 when that comes out, or I'm thinking maybe of just waiting and seeing if it turns up in the cheap bins a few months later. It's an interesting story. I think maybe the art has gone further downhill. At first glance, the art is okay, workmanlike, but I think there's also something off in the, how should I put it, the composition of individual panels and the layouts, more the composition of the individual panels, so that they're kind of all feel the same, and so there's not a visual liveliness here. I hate to be down on an artist who's probably working very hard. It feels like maybe done just to get the job done, without much in the way of interesting moving around. So as you look through the comic, it just seems like you're seeing a lot of figures standing in similar poses over and over again. It's not terrible art, but just somehow I'm just wondering if part of the reason the story is flagging a bit is because of the art. There's still lots of interesting, fun elements here. So I'm gonna have to decide whether to get the next one. It's great to have more all-female-oriented comics. I do still wonder how come there aren't more female writers that they can find. I know there's in the world in general, lots of good women writers. Anyway, that may just be a whole thing with comics. Then I also read Sex 2, and I'm pretty sure I won't get Sex 3. I'm torn though. I like the art a lot, and I like this, that they've got this wraparound cover. I love wraparound covers. I love the kind of design elements that they use, and I love the coloring in it. I hate the what do you call it? The lettering, and particularly, I hate the thing they're doing with the boxes of color around random words. I tried for a while trying to figure out what those boxes of color were. I think it throws you, for those of you who haven't read it, you can see maybe here, certain words are highlighted, like with a highlighter, in yellow and orange and green and blue. And there's really they might be words that they would have chosen to put in bold, but why those colors? And it's not nearly as effective as putting letters in bold. This highlighting, because you're dealing with a color comic, and then you've got these white balloons with bits of color popping out, and so if you look quickly at the page, all you see are those balloons. So I found myself really liking the pages where there was, like this one where someone's writing in a diary and we're not getting any word balloons, and where there was no color highlighting. The book became a lot better. But the greatest sin is the writer is just, he's taking his time too much. We're 2 issues in, and I still have no feeling for this kind of Bruce Wayne Batman character. He's a retired superhero, and he's trying to just have a normal life now. But we don't even see him much trying to have a normal life. We don't get much about him. I think even if Bruce Wayne were to retire, he would still be kind of a driven person. We would see things about his personality that he uses in Batman would now move over into his regular life. But if this is what this character is like, he was called the Armored Saint. The Armored Saint must have been a pretty passive superhero. I don't think that's Joe Kelly's intent, the writer Joe Kelly. And so you can see as I talk about this that I'm kind of intrigued by the whole idea. But I just feel like Joe Kelly may be taking his time too much, or may not be, doing that great of a job on it. And then in the back, he has this thing called Dirty Talk. And all that's dirty about it, it's really sort of his editorial and letters page. And all that's dirty about it is he likes to say shit a lot. The word shit. So there's just something just weird about calling this thing sex. I guess he's sexually repressed, so maybe he'll become unsexually repressed later. It's surprising, by this, kind of veteran professional writer, Joe Casey, in a comic book, that other than naming it sex and throwing in a few sex scenes, he's not doing the right things that I think writers know how to do to keep the interest and get the early issues of a comic book really revved up. Speaking of revved up, Batgirl is a very emotional issue. This is one of my less favorite of the fold-out covers, but I am getting, I did get this because of the fold-out cover. I mean, I've been meaning to try Batgirl again. This is Gail Simone's first issue back on. I think I gather from what I'm reading here, she's kind of wrapping up some loose ends about the James Gordon plot line. Is his name James? Wait. What's the brother's name? He's named James, so James Jr., I assume. The art is nice in lots of places, but it also at times, I'm not going to be able to find it, but there was points where the art would skip over an important detail, and it's like, wait a minute, what just happened? So I don't know if Simone is teamed with her ideal artist here, but I did enjoy this issue a lot. Another thing, this has the big revelation about the transgendered, I feel like I'm not hurting anyone by giving it away because it was all over the news, the transgendered roommate in here. But I guess because I haven't been following this, it really had no impact on me. She just sat down with Barbara and they each told each other some secrets, and she said, "I'm transgendered, Barbara." So I don't know if that's going to have any effect later. I'm quite interested, in a way, in the real world about the difficulties and or happinesses of someone who gets a sex change and how that affects their life. That's interesting stuff. I don't know if it'll come to play in here or it's just a little throwaway thing. I feel bad being down on the artist because he does a lot of really cool things, like there's this double shadow in the rain puddles of him upside down as we get Barbara's point of view of her brother about to try and cripple her. Another example of maybe my problem with the artist, and maybe this is a problem in a lot of comics, is when their mother shows up, Barbara Gordon and James Gordon's mother, I just thought it was Barbara Gordon drawn a little more sloppily. I couldn't tell it was a much older, middle-aged woman. I guess she had a little bit of a line there. She was a little bit less pretty than Barbara Gordon. So just kind of, I enjoyed this issue, and maybe I'll keep picking up Batgirl for a few more issues and see if Simone grabs me with this. Yeah. Then another really good issue of Batman and Robin, and I wasn't going to pick it up, but several people whose tastes I seem to be in line with often said it was really great, and they were right. Loved the art in this issue. Sometimes Patrick Gleason isn't perfect, but here he was perfect. It was Patrick Gleason prime. It was really good. Really good Patrick Gleason art. I love the way he did Frankenstein Agent of Shade. I love the way he drew Batman. I love the way he drew all the characters. He does some really cool layouts, but he's not like a super show-off. There's this one sort of, using plastic bags. Excuse me a moment. How's that for real life? There's this one double-page spread that, it's lots of small panels that go across the page this way, and they're all connected by Frankenstein-like stitching. This is, just like the previous silent issue, this is, a fantastic showcase of Patrick Gleason's artwork. And it's the whole sort of crazy denial of Batman is done really well. The appearance of Red Robin is done really well. The appearance of what's her name, Carrie Kelly, is done really well, except for the fact that it's kind of a mean teaser to make it look like Batman and Carrie Kelly would actually go into action together. She just appears as a regular civilian character. But as a story overall, that works great. And it's just kind of a nod to Frank Miller, and lets us, if anyone wants in the future, to use her again. So I just am really torn. They're going to brilliantly do all this Batman without Robin stuff, but I'm still mad that they killed off Damian, and I kind of don't want to spend my time wallowing in Batman's grief, although intense grief is what makes perfect sense. So I'm still on the fence as to whether I'll buy the next issue. I probably will end up breaking down. So today is New Comic Book Day. Maybe when I get to my comic book store, maybe I'll put up another quick video about that. They'll probably both be uploaded in the end at the same time. But I expect I'm going to grab a whole bunch more of these gatefolds because I'm just really enjoying them. I feel like it's something that I'll enjoy pulling out of my collection 3 years from now and looking at them all again. So I'm buying a lot of DC this month. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you soon.